Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Austin, and in this series, we're going to be working in Unity 3D. Maybe you don't know what Unity 3D is, maybe you've heard of it and you're kind of interested, or maybe you really want to get into it, you just don't know where to start. Well, this is where you start. I will be covering everything I can possibly cover from a novice point of view, so if you're coming into this with no programming experience, you're at the right place. We're in the right series here. And if you are coming into this with no Unity experience, you're in the right place. We'll cover all of that. Let's learn some stuff. So let's jump right in with some brief explanation of what Unity actually is. If you're coming into this series and you don't even know what it is, you're probably interested, right? So go to unity3d.com and you can go to /Unity. And you'll get all this information, all these different tabs here you can go to, and it will explain all the key features of Unity. Now, the big thing about Unity is it is accessible to anyone. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to work in a big team. You don't have to get licenses or any of that stuff. You just download the software and you can make commercial games just like that. The main thing with Unity is its multi-platform support. You can port to Android, iOS, any of the Windows devices, Apple, or a Mac. You can port to a web player. So if you play it on Congregate.com or I think even Newgrounds maybe do it now, you can see the Unity web player. This is what it's made in, Unity 3D, the software. You can port to an Xbox with the appropriate licenses and the Wii U, the PS3. You can see that list. It is crazy. And I think they're even working on a PS Vita option. I don't know. I think that's what I read in one of their blogs. It is so cool. And it is easily the most powerful independent development software you can use. Just look at some of the games. We'll go to the gallery and check out some of the games made in Unity 3D. Some of these games are so successful. And you never would have thought they were made in Unity, but they are. Every one of these. The graphics engine in Unity is not subpar. People think it is because they see a lot of crap. Honestly, they see a lot of crap made with Unity because there is a lot of crap. It's accessible to everyone. There's going to be a lot of crap. But there are so many good, beautiful things made in this engine that it makes up for it. Just check out some of this stuff. It is awesome. And the asset store is another huge draw to Unity. You have access to so many pre-built assets from the community. You yourself can make an asset, submit it to the store, and then sell it to people. You make money off of it that way. They take a cut, sure, but they have to, right? It's their store. But you can get so many different things, and you can have things where you can like jumpstart your entrance into a game and just start with a framework or something, and you don't have to do any extra work. It's already ready for the Unity environment. It's so good. All right. And the community is great too. I'm not gonna not explain that or not talk about that. The community is awesome. So check that out. But that's not what we're here about. We're here to learn Unity. So if you download Unity, you'll go to here. Nope, that's the wrong window. You go to here, go to download, and then download it. This will be a bit newer of a version than I'm using, but nothing that we go over will be changed. So I'm going to double click Unity, and I'll get this Unity project wizard. I have a bunch of projects, I do. But we're going to create a new project, and I'm going to create mine inside of my Google Drive folder so that I have a backup at all times. It's always good to make sure you have a backup. If something happens and you lose all your work, you are not going to continue. You're going to stop and go cry in a corner. I know. I have done that. So I want to make a new folder. Call it Unity Series. Inside this folder, I'm going to click Select. Now I want to click Create. We are not going to bring in any of these packages. I'll have more than you because I have some assets, but none of this stuff we need, and this can be changed later on if you decide to make a 2D game or a 3D game. Also, another key though, Unity just recently released 2D support. So you can make a 2D game inside of Unity and still use some of the 3D features. Like you can have like some cool parallax and stuff going on. It's so good. And the physics engine is just, it's It's really cool. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna click create. And this is what you will probably see, I hope, when you launch Unity for the first time. A lot of stuff going on. It might be a little intimidating if you've never worked in an environment like this before, but I will do my best to explain the stuff that matters for now, at least. We'll get into some stuff in a bit more depth in the future, but for now, I'll explain everything on the top of it, you know, what we see. So you have your, I guess, context menus up here where you can do all the stuff you do in all the other software. You can create different things that are available in Unity. You can change your windows and open windows, stuff like that. Not important. But what we have here, it would be our control tools, right? I don't know what they're really called, but they control objects. So control tools. You can change these with Q, W, E, R, and T. Just like that. Get used to that. You'll see me clicking on this instead of using the hotkeys because my keyboard, I have to pull it out to use it. And it's because I'm so close to my desk because of my microphone, I don't have the boom arm set up, and it's difficult. So I'll just be clicking these. And you'll hear the noise when I do my desk. See that? That's not good. Let's not do that. Okay. So that's that. This is just for the pivot or the anchor points and stuff. We don't really care about that. For now, at least. We will in the future. Here we have the play, pause, and next frame button. What this does is it will allow you to test your game. So when you click play, it'll bring up a test window for you to test the game within Unity. You can pause the game on its current frame or skip to the next frame. Over here we just have some quick menus to get to. You can set up different layouts and stuff that way. Whatever, right? Here we have a hierarchy. Inside of the hierarchy, we have all the stuff that is active within our scene. This is our scene view. I'll get to that in a second. But in here, we have everything that's in the scene view in alphabetical order. So it goes numerals first, symbols and numerals, and then it would go to letters, right? So A, B, C, D. That's good to know. And it will have, you can click on that and get some context from that object. And here we have our scene view. What we do in here is we design our levels, our maps, so you can drag objects around, place them in different areas. And you can also test inside the scene view and see what's going on from a whatever point of view you want. On the top here, we have different shader options, really. You can change it, all the objects to be wireframe or wireframe and textures as well and stuff like that. You can change the camera from 2D to 3D, so you'll go from this perspective view to more of an orthographic view that's straight on a single axis, which is pretty cool. You can toggle all the lighting, you can do the sounds on and off and all that. I think it's sound on and off. Gizmos, you can turn them on and off. There's going to be a lot of times you're going to have to do this because they're going to be in your way. You're going to have a lot of something in a certain area. You might want to make them smaller or larger, or just turn off 3D gizmos altogether. Really helpful to do. Show and hide the grid. Pretty cool. And you can search. I don't even know what this does. I think it just searches. What does it search? I don't even know what that searches. What does that search? Go search by name. If I go camera. I've never used it. I don't know what that does. Then you have your little gizmo up here in the top where you can change your view. Just like that and get straight on views and stuff. And you can change the perspective from orthographic to perspective by clicking on that itself. Now I'm going to be right clicking to turn my camera like that, to rotate my camera. I'm going to be holding the middle mouse button to pan. And next down here we have, or over here we have the inspector. This is a very, very key component of Unity 3D. We'll be doing a lot of stuff over here. When you have an item selected, you see the components, kind of scary looking, so I'll unselect that. But you see the components and you can edit variables and settings and stuff of those components of that specific item. Very awesome. Down here we have the project window. This is just a browser for searching through your project files. So you'll have your assets folder. Now this is I'll show you if we go to my Google Drive. The assets folder is just this directory right here within your project. So you come in here, everything you create within this assets folder will be right here at this address, right? Depending at this address, at this directory. So if you create, say you're working on a model, you're developing a model, a 3D model, and you make a change. Well, you don't want to come in here, delete this model, replace that model with a new, and then set it up to match the old one. No, what you want to do is in your assets folder, this is where you want to save it to. So every time you save, it'll update it automatically in Unity because you're replacing it, you're overriding it. Very important to know that from the beginning. It will save you a lot of headache. So I can right click on this and I get this cool context menu, and I can create things inside of the assets folder. And you can also go create right here and do the same thing. If I go right click and click create and make a folder, we can create a folder inside this assets folder. I'll call it scripts because we're going to be creating some scripts. We'll be storing them, if I can see my keyboard, we'll be storing them inside the assets folder, and our scripts will be inside here, probably divided up into subfolders. And now you can see I have scripts right here inside my assets folder. Cool, right? It is. Now behind this we have a tab that says console. Now this is a very important feature as well. You'll be using this quite a bit. This is like well, if you've worked in any other language, you know what a console is. You're going to be logging stuff to the console. You're going to be pushing errors to the console. You're going to be doing print statements to the console so that you understand what's happening when. And anytime there's an error in Unity, it'll print it to the console for you as well. Pretty cool. So just quickly, we got all of the basic interface stuff out of the way. Now we understand where stuff is in Unity, what it does, and how to use some of it, right? We've not done anything with it, but in the next part, we will do something with it. We're going to create a script, and I'm going to go over what a namespace is, what a class is, what a method is. I don't know how many videos all this will take, but we'll get into that. We'll make a simple script that does something, and then we'll call the beginner parts done. And then we'll get into doing some stuff that actually matters. I mean, you have to learn this stuff, but we want to do stuff that actually has a result. So we'll get into that as soon as possible. I'll see you next time.